So welcome to the next episode. Today we are going to speak about texture scans within Pro HD. You will need that color pack. Additionally, it's not part of the standard kit for the Pro HD. Remember that if you want to purchase a Pro HD, you will need this one if you want to capture as well textures. You can theoretically, in all three modes that are available, make a texture scan. But there are some different things to know, and that's why I want to start with the rapid scan, because all of the modes have their special characteristics regarding color and textured scans. The good thing about the first mode, that rapid scan mode, is that you have one very cool feature. We start a new project. I will show you. I will use that folder that I already created. I have one feature that's not available in the other modes. At least it's the texture as an alignment help. What I think is pretty cool. That means you use the texture on that object, we have an apple in this case, to orientate your views. And that's just possible in this rapid scan mode. That means if you have perfectly plain or similar or homogeneous curvature style surfaces, you can as well use some color information to tell the scanner where you are. And imagine you have a globe that you know maybe from school, where you can turn the globe and see all the countries and continents on. This is like a map that tells you where you are on this globe. If you would imagine that same globe just in glossy white, and looking at it, it would be rather hard to know if you're upside or downside on that globe, because it will look all the same from all the perspectives. And that would happen to the scanner as well. He would look at this globe, and that all white globe for him would look, in each kind of the orientations, it would look the same. So using the texture on it, that mean in this case colors, letters, whatever is on there, makes him able to orientate himself on the object. And that's just possible in the rapid scan mode. You will see that by selecting the other ones. So as we are going to make a textured scan, we will have to select texture scan, of course. I will in this example not use the texture as an alignment help. I just show you that later on some better example. I think I will just go and use markers, because I have a marker turntable. I should use the opposite side, because this side is for a different scanner. And I'm just going to use some kind of intermediate resolution. Keep in mind that changing the resolution is applying a different resolution to the mesh or the density of the point cloud, but it will have no influence on your texture. So we keep 0.5. We have not too small elements that we need to capture. And we start the textured scan. Keep in mind that if you didn't calibrate the scanner with the color pack, you will have to do that first. As I did it already, like I showed you in that video, I can just continue scanning. I'm going to focus on the object, take in consideration my optimum distance. I can just play a little bit with the brightness of the cameras, but this is the brightness for the geometry capturing, so don't expect a lot of influence on your texture scan. And we are going to start scanning. I'm doing just one view, turning that apple around. Like you can see, and you see that as well, the black surface from the turntable has that advantage that you will have not to capture things that you will have to cut away afterwards again. And you see, even without meshing, the result is pretty decent, I would say, for an apple. Okay. The rest of the procedure is really the same, so you don't have to consider much. Make a textured scan, because the software is quite doing everything automatically, and it's doing these things really well, so you don't have to be scared about that one. We will at least need some more views to generate a closed volume that will represent the apple. To fix that, I have here my plastilin from our shop, and I'm just going to create a new project view. I keep all the same, at least I cannot even change it if I want. Using a little bit of that plastilin. The good thing is about our special scanning plastilin is it's sticking a little bit, and anyway it is not something that's really elastic. So I can as well keep that apple fixed in some different position. I will have to turn it actually quite slowly, or I have to get a better fixing. Let's use a little bit more of that gum style plastilin. That looks quite a lot better to me. Okay, so next view. Principle is the same like you had it in an other scan without the texture. And that's it for this apple. We could right now go into the post-processing and create an apple as a model. Just keep a look on that surfaces near objects that touch your scanning object. You will sometimes encounter, and this is not specific for this scanner, it will happen in the others and as well in other brands, that color information is not exactly separated regarding the geometric borders. So in this case, if you're cleaning up that scan, I would recommend to cut a little bit more to get rid of that white blurred areas that will appear in my model later on if I don't delete them. That's it, we are ready for the alignment. And the good thing about organic objects is that they have a quite unique shape structure, so you should be easily able to mount them together. No, I was just moving out too fast, so I'm going back. By feature, I will just align them by feature, that means by their shape. It looks a lot better to me. And right now I have my finished object. before the final treatment, and I need no special regulations on my parameters here. That's a very easy model. I just can start the meshing, and the software in the case of shining will automatically calculate a texture for you that will unite the different textures and do the UV mapping. And as you see, that automatic process is doing a quite well job. And voila, you have your first scanned apple. It doesn't have the vitamins of the original one, but it might serve your purpose for augmented or virtual reality. Just one thing that's important is that you will save it in the right format. What is as well something that you could do here still, what is possible, is to fine adjust brightness and contrast. If you need it, if you want to have it a bit more red, you can do that. And as I said before, just save it on the right format. You will have to save it as OBJ, because this is actually something that is capable as well to export the JPEG texture map. And right now you can use this color textured scan and import it in a tool like Sketchfab or Marmoset toolbag. You can reuse it to create your all virtual subject. So in this moment, it's something became pretty fashion to do, let's say, digitalizations of art, and as well use it for creating tokens, of course. What has become a really trend. I'm not sure if this will last, but for us selling scanners, it's at least not the worst that can happen. So this is your first textured scan that you created, very easy. I just would like to show you the meaning of the texture tracking, and it can be really helpful. Create a new project. This time I'm just going to do a test, scan the surface without any kind of the special markers or any kind of the special texture help. I will just try to scan the surface of that table here in a normal resolution, nothing really special, but this surface fulfills already a problematic environment for the scanner. It's bigger than a single scan field view from that scanner, and inside there is a very low amount of information regarding geometry or features. He will be able, quite sure, to recognize the surface of the table, but you see I have to play with the brightness because it's a rather dark table, and right now I start to have some visible surface. It's not so good because you see there is a very small spectrum of light density that he accepts for scanning, but if I start scanning right now, he says there is not enough features to do a scan, because for him everything looks the same. He's not able to put new points related to the old ones. That means he's just lost. And I can go back and do the same and offer him some features, or in this case I'm going to use the texture tracking or texture alignment, how it is called in the Shining software, and I'm using one of these propaganda flyers from our company to show you the effect. And right now we say you can use for the alignment texture, and we are going to start the scan again. We have the same surface and we have the same situation regarding the tracking, regarding the surface side, because that paper is rather thin, and you will see that he is capable to at least scan and orientate himself. He has some bigger problems in this example to scan the surface around the flyer. Why? If you go back in that video, you will see that, you can as well go in the preview, we have a very big difference regarding the surface reflection of the emitted light from the scanner, the white light that you can hear with that, see with that structure in it. And there is a problem about the surfaces. The white surface, that's my flyer here, is reflecting a lot of light. And the dark surface is just absorbing most of it. I can have a tracking right now, and I see as well that he's capturing areas where he is having partly enough light to capture the surface. He is able to align and to scan. But scanning inside the white area is bad because it's over brightened, and outside the white area you can see the scanning is bad as well. Here you see it's over bright because there is no really visible environment because of the dark surface. And this is touching a problem why we have scan sprays, at least. This kind of the scanners that emit a density of light that will be reflected very differently from the surface will have a problem to scan mixed surfaces regarding surface light conditions or light properties, you have to say, because one for them can be out of the range that he can scan, and the other one will be inside, and regulating that one that is outside will kick the other one out of his dynamic range, and you will not be able to scan such a surface. If I would spray right now the table with a scan spray, I would homogenize the surface properties regarding light properties, and that's making scans that are sprayed from the surface look a lot better. And this is something that we will see here as well, scanning the table with a sprayed surface. I think this was just a small excursion to some different area, but it might help you in the beginning to understand the problems that you might face. Okay, but the topic from today was not scan spray. The topic from today is scanning texture, and therefore we are going to go back and speak about another scan mode and speak about the special, let's say, topics regarding texture scan. We're going to use the handheld HD mode. I would have wished to have both of this in one mode. That means rapid scan and HD mode in one mode. I think it's not such a really cool idea to make two modes out of it. Maybe the mathematically background is so different that it makes sense, but it does quite the same that you can see here right now in the parameters. It is able to do texture scan and non-texture scan. It can use different alignments without texture alignment. That would be really cool for an HD scan, that it means a high detail scan as well. If I have a very, let's speak about art. I was recently speaking to some women that are modeling in clay. They are modeling figures. And of course they want to capture small details, but some of that figures and sculptures are colorized, and they want to have both at least. And I could as well use the color for alignment in this high detail scans, and I'm not sure, it would be cool to have it in one mode. That means just like a hand scan mode and then fixed mode, and be able over the parameters to do what is done in this moment in the HD mode. That means just going up here, not just to 0.25. It is possible here to go up to 0.2. Classic and high detail in this case is a filter that you will apply. That means high detail will not absorb so much the sharp edges in some structures. It will as well lead to a bit more sensitive result. That means if you have a caster face from, for example, sand casting, you will see a lot of small details that you don't want to see so much maybe. Or if you have a very glossy surface beside a surface that's rather dark or rather, let's say, different, it can happen that in the touch areas you will have on both sides some impreciseness, let's say like that, or some not so nice surfaces. Anyway, we just keep it classic. Here is no need for high details. You can see right now a HD scan is going to 0.2 and it's not stopped at 0.25 like the rapid scan. And yes, there is some more differences. The filters are a bit different, not just here. The opting for classic or high detail mode, it is processed a bit different, but it can be a third, let's say, adjustment value or some toolbar for that, and that would be one mode together. So maybe for the future, maybe you appreciate that high detail mode, you can write it in the comments. I would be fine with two of that modes. Just to test that high detail mode, I'm just going to 0.3. We can go back to our Apple example and do the same, but you will see that the results will not vary so much. In the Apple example, we can just do it and see if there is some small cracks or so that will be sharper, but there is nothing new to learn for you. So if you would do the same with the Apple, it would look a bit sharper on the surfaces. You would see some scratches on the Apple that you didn't see before. There is no big benefit. Just be sure that you think before you choose your mode that you use the right one. Do you need texture tracking or alignment, how it is called here, or don't you need it? Just keep that in mind. Or you need high details or not. So if we go back to the different modes, we are going to talk about the last mode. And this is fixed scan mode. And I'm just doing the next video over fixed scan mode, and I will integrate in the fixed scan mode, I will integrate as well an example of a textured scan. I have no tripod right now here. I will just build it up for the next set and show you. Just keep in mind that you need that tripod for the fixed scan. Why do you need it? It's not a video stream anymore in that you will scan. That hand scanners normally use a video stream. I can override it, doesn't matter. Why? Because they want to use the single frames to make a closed volume. So they are in real time, they are patching together the surfaces of the cloud surfaces, because there are no surfaces. The clouds that look like surface, they're patching them together to create a volume-like cloud surrounded representation of your object that will be meshed and be a surface afterwards, or a watertight model. So in the case of a rapid scan, it's like that, and it's in the case of a HD handheld scan like that. Switching to the fixed scan, you are actually switching to a structured light scanner, in this case, that you might know from an I don't know, David 3D SLS or on Transcan C from Shining or a range vision scanner, and they are not necessarily using a video stream. At least they just use out of this video stream if they are filming just a few pictures, and they are projecting in between 12 to 36 patterns. There is some different philosophies about it on the surface, and they are taking that pictures out of the video stream or just synchronized with the projector, and they are going to calculate your depth map out of this. This has a great advantage that without shaking and everything is still, it's like photography with a tripod, you can get with the same equipment much better results. You will see that later on. But of course you cannot be so flexible regarding your angles of view. And to go a bit deeper into that, I'm just going to forward that into the next video, because I think for all of you who are just keen to know about how to do a textured scan within Pro HD, they are well served. Not everybody is using that fixed mode so much. There is inside, just let me see if I have it here. No, it's just in the stock anyway. There is a plastic fixation for a photography tripod that I can use here, what makes it possible to do a fixed scan without buying the industrial pack as well. And for many things this will be fine or enough. You can just use a simple turntable like this one to do your scans. Anyway, I will just go and speak about a fixed scan using the industrial pack, just going a bit short over what would happen if you don't use it. But it makes really sense to buy the industrial pack if you want to go fixed scanning and increase the quality of your scans over structured light method. Okay, so for this video it's all so far, and we are going to speak about a fixed scan mode in the next video, and as well speaking about textured scans with a fixed scan mode. It will be better, believe me, because as well not moving the scanner around gives an advantage as well to have not blurry textures. We will do that Apple again with that fixed scan mode, and you can compare the results from the same scanner in the fixed scan mode to the handheld modes, and you will like it, believe me. Okay, so that's it for today. See you next time.